How you guys doing today? My name is Nkounkou, CEO of EcoText. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about textbooks. And I'm sure we've all been there before. First day of classes, you get to all your classes, you have your syllabus, you identify all the textbooks you need, you go to the bookstore, and within 2 seconds, you leave the bookstore because the price is just too ridiculous. And textbook prices have been increasing year after year. So much so that students and their families are recommended to budget about $1,200 a year just for textbooks. And these resources students indicate they don't use after the class is finished, right? And so now we've noticed that over 30% of students don't buy textbooks due to the price. And this problem is not just affecting the students, it's affecting the university as a whole, and then ultimately impacting the publishers. And so this is where we come in, EcoText. We deliver digital textbooks at a flat rate semester fee that's embedded within tuition. So we partner with the publishers and we sell directly to the universities. So now buying your textbooks is no longer an out-of-pocket cost. And we're essentially creating this ecosystem where now all the parties involved can benefit in their respective ways. So now being embedded within tuition, 100% of the students get all their textbooks at a fraction of the cost. We help the universities achieve their ultimate mission of delivering the highest quality of education because now all the students have the resources they need to succeed in the classroom. And of course, we positively impact the publisher's revenue and profitability because of our digital medium. And so we're ultimately making this transformation. We're taking this workload here, which is breaking the bank and frankly breaking people's backs, and it's gonna be in the palm of your hands. So really adapting to the modern student. And we have features, bookmarks, note-taking, searching, jumping in between sections that allow students to really engage with their digital textbook. And it's all bundled in at $200 price point that's embedded within the tuition. So however you take care of that bill, scholarships, loans, student aid, this will cover it as well. So currently we have about 50,000 books in our inventory, and we just launched our beta application this fall, and we have over 900 students, so it's been super exciting to see them use the application and the feedback we've gotten so far. And to pivot a little bit about the financials of EcoText, we have a revenue share model where every license we sell, we take a cut, we give a kickback to the university, and we not only do this as an incentive, but also to compensate for the commissions they might have otherwise had from a bookstore on campus. And then the rest obviously goes to the content creators. And so here's to really show the impact of EcoText. There's a snapshot of my alma mater, University of New Hampshire, has about 15,000 kids. And with only 20% of students only buying new textbooks, the publishers are only taking home about 1.6 million. Now with EcoText in the picture, with every single student having the licenses they need, they take home about 3.6 million more. The universities bode well, and then obviously EcoText, we make buku dollars. And so we're really trying to replicate this transformation nationwide. We're gonna be starting with community colleges this fall. And our goal is that in year 5, we can capture at least 2% of the market. That's about 400,000 kids, and we'll be operating at gross revenue of about $10 million. And so this spring, we're gonna be doing a round to raising about $250,000 through equity investment. And most of that funding is gonna go towards getting your bigger business and engineering titles, but then additionally increasing our technological bandwidth so we can sustain an entire university like UNH, like Georgia Tech, that has tens of thousands of students. And so here are the beautiful faces behind the madness that make sure everything gets done. We're just a bunch of college kids that identified the same problem, and we went through it every semester. About half of us are computer science or computer engineering, and the rest are other. And we have 3 awesome advisors, serial entrepreneurs in their own respects, that are based out in Boston, Minneapolis, that have been helping us through this entire journey. So our 3 pillars are education, economy, and environment. We really pride ourselves in being a conscious capitalist. And so please help us ensure that every college student can afford textbooks for better education. Thank you, guys.
Business. Can you talk a little bit about the sales cycle, selling into universities?
Sure. So it's going to be directly in your tuition bill. So for myself, for example, you have like your straight tuition, you have your room and board, and you have our fees. And so for most universities and community colleges, we're nested right into that fee category. And so any applicable way you take care of that bill, financial aid, student loans, it will be covered. Correct. Sure. So for the bigger state schools, it's about a year process. So we've been working with my alma mater since last spring, and the goal is that in spring 2020 we'll be able to enroll this in effect. For community colleges and private schools, the turnaround is a little bit quicker because there's less people and less bureaucracy, but it's about a year of anticipation.
Can you talk a little bit about your competitive landscape? I know some of the university students that I've been working with, they're actually renting the book for periods of days and then getting off the platform and only paying as they use the book.
Sure. So there's a lot of different ways where students can bypass buying a new textbook, but it doesn't really solve the problem where publishers are still going to feel the impact, and they're going to do everything they can to retain those students or get them back, right? So we're really creating an ecosystem. But obviously, renting, those are all different methods where we have competition in. We actually economically beat all of them except for renting. And even, we argue that the experience of having a digital textbook and not having to worry about the fees and handling it and the maintenance is better. And I just wanted to highlight also the other competition that's international that's been also trying to do a similar model, but they're in European models, and let's face it, it's nothing like the US.
Okay, we've got time for one more question.
So from the student perspective, how do I know you exist? How do I find out about you?
Sure. So we've been doing our campaign on social media, so just getting students on the platform. But once we're nested into universities, it's really going to come from the mouths of the professors and the administrators that are really going to be carrying our message.
What's the incentive for the universities to use your product?
So we have a couple different incentives. One of them is that they can do some more recruiting and say, hey, you come to a university, all your out-of-pocket costs, and it's no longer a thing, right? However you take care of your bill, it's there. But also we want to enable the university to give the highest quality of education, because we're finding that students, more than a quarter of them, don't buy textbooks. So now you have different gaps where students are at a disadvantage if they don't have those resources. So really creating a better playing field for everyone at the university.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.